I see the comments and requests and I will act on them. Please remember to follow Geography World channel on Instagram and Facebook using the link shown on the screen. Please remember to like, share with your friends, and subscribe. For persons wishing to contact me privately, you may email me at geographyworld100@gmail.com. The link will be posted below.
Hi guys, welcome back to Geography World. Today we're going to look at CAPE Unit 2, Paper 2, and that's the 2019 paper. For this video, we're going to look at question number 3. Okay guys, so question number 3, part A, asks that we write an essay discussing reasons for the change in economic importance in the primary sector in a named developing country. Now, the first thing you need to do is to have an introduction because you're going to write an essay. Now, in your introduction, you need to tell us about the primary sector in the Caribbean or in the developing country that you have selected, the name developing country, right? What it is and the type. So tell us what is the primary sector about in that name developed country, and then you're going to list your 4 reasons why there is a change in importance. So I'm just going to do the Caribbean broad, but you can narrow it down to a specific name developing country. So the first one is that there are changes in government policies. So the government may change their policies with respect to the direction of development and growth in their country. Thus, they emphasize on other sectors over another. So for example, in the Caribbean, because we're a major tourist destination, more money or more resources are put toward the tourism industry than the agricultural industry. Depletion of resources may also force countries to engage in alternative economic activities. So poor farming practices may deplete the soil resource and reduce the yield, forcing countries to try and develop other sectors of the economy, such as services. Natural disasters and hazards which affect primary products such as forestry and agriculture may be another reason for the change in economic importance. There's also the fall in price for raw material as they had to compete with international competition. We can also look at the fact that the country wanted to diversify their economies, hence implementing other sectors. We can also look at the decline in workers due to the low wages that are basically paid out to persons in the primary sector. So persons oftentimes go for the other sectors which are higher paying jobs. We can also look at the fact that due to the lack of finances to implement useful and up-to-date technology, such as irrigations and tractors, there is also a change. We can look at the terrain of the land, because some location, the terrain of the land does not allow for large-scale farming because of the steep slopes. And then some places, developing countries, their primary sector is affected by diseases, which may affect the agricultural sector as well as forestry, and thus causing disinterest among farmers. Now, once you are able to reason just 4 of these points and explain how it brings about a change in the economy, then you should be well on your way in securing the 14 marks. Now, after you're finished expounding on your 4 main points, you're going to put your conclusion. And it could be something as simple as there are several factors that cause that change in economic importance of the primary sector in developing countries. You state which country you're talking about and the 4 reasons that you basically made mention of. Remember that the conclusion, you should not have any new information in there. Part B to the question asks that we explain one cultural factor hindering the development of farming in the Caribbean. And there are 3 there. You can just look at any one. So the cultural factor, for example, historical influence. The Caribbean historical background, it plays a critical role in determining the type of agricultural practice in the Caribbean. Most of the agricultural practice were for export to Europe. For example, sugar was needed, hence most Caribbean islands grew sugarcane. Historical influence continues to determines what is grown and by whom and what scale throughout the region, right? And then another cultural factor we can look at is labor. Because of the slave legacy associated with agriculture, many young people have stayed away from the sector. Hence, labor is difficult to find for the sector. So, because when persons usually hear about agriculture or farming, they oftentimes associate slavery, so they tend to stay away from the farming sector. Then we can also look at land tenureship and ownership. Some farmers lease the land for agricultural purposes due to the high prices for land in the Caribbean. Now, where land ownership is in dispute, farmers are reluctant to take care of the land or to plant crops which take a long time to mature, hence hindering development in the Caribbean. Once you're able to explain any factor, then the mark should be yours. Part C to the question asks that we state 3 reasons why Weber's model of industrial location is still relevant. Now, Weber's model is still relevant because 1. Industry, they try to identify the least cost location for their industry as a way of making profits. So industries tend to use the fact proposed by Weber now to find the least cost location, right? The second point is that the industries tend to locate in areas where labor cost is cheap, thus assisting with the least cost location. So for example, a lot of these companies, they go to areas, especially developing countries, to establish their industries because of cheap labor. Now, even though modes of transportation have been improved, the transportation cost varies, hence industries tend to develop very close to their market as a way of reducing cost, right? So they try to locate as close to their market as possible as a way of reducing transportation costs. And many industries still use the agglomeration approach to not only reduce transportation costs, but also infrastructural and other costs. So once you're able to just explain any of these 3 reasons, then 3 marks. State any of these 3 reasons, then 3 marks is yours. Part D asks that we describe 1 major economic characteristics of the informal sector. Now, the informal sector comprises of workers who are not regulated or involved with the formal sector. Now, economic these characteristics include, for example, little capital is invested in the startup and running of the informal business. They have few tools are used and they are most times simple, such as a knife or a simple sewing machine. There is no fixed price. The price for the goods often vary from different customers. So the informal sectors are like the vendors, right? So they have little startup capital, they use simple tools, and there's usually no fixed price for their goods. And part E to the question asks that we outline 3 ways in which mass tourism could negatively impact the environment in a more economically developed country or MEDC. Now, the first thing you need to do is have an introduction. Tell us the most economically developed country that you're talking about. So in this case, I'm going to refer to the United States of America. Good. Now you're going to have a short introduction, and in your introduction, you're going to tell us a little bit about tourism in MECs, and you're going to tell us the 3 ways in which mass tourism could negatively impact the environment in your selected most economically developed country. Now, there are different categories that you can put them on. I'm going to look at the physical, the social, and the built environment. Now, with the physical environment, it will disrupt the coastal areas where swamps might be drained to accommodate hotels, and we can see a lot of these taking place in the coastal areas in America already. You have corals and other aquatic life destroyed due to activities associated with the tourism industry. You have resources such as water and land will be stressed by the influx of large number of persons. We can have increasing noise, water, land, and air pollution as the need of mass tourism are catered to. And you're going to have an increase in deforestation to accommodate infrastructures for tourism. And this is something that is evident in the MEDCs already. Now, those were for the physical environment. Now, the built environment is that we're going to have overcrowding, and this may be a serious problem in most, especially in the urban areas, where you're going to have a lot of traffic congestion due to overcrowding. which is going to even lead to more pollution. There's going to be an increase in the land price and inflation of domestic prices, right? So once you have mass tourism taking place, you're going to realize the prices for land is going to increase. And then now for the social, there's going to be an increase in social issues such as robberies, prostitution, substance abuse, and many other. Now once you're able to just expound on any three of these points, then the marks belong to you. And then now mass tourism could negatively impact the environment in MEDCs in several ways, such as, and you basically list the ways that you have expounded. Now there are many ways that mass tourism can affect MEDCs. You just need to select 3.
We are at the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell in order to receive more videos like these. Leave comments below suggesting topics that you would want me to present on. In the comment section below, comment the name of your school and the territory for a shout out in my next video. Until then, bye.